It is Sunday the 22nd, Saturday the 22nd of October, and I'm in front of the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Lachine, the Lakeshore Unitarian Universalist congregation. Just starting up a little protest against Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy, and with a specific accent on the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association has falsely accused me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel in clergy sex abuse cover-up legal bullying. The clear intent of the Unitarian Universalist Association's false blasphemous libel accusation against me was to intimidate me into removing the Emerson Avenger blog posts that tell the readily verifiable truth about Unitarian Universalists who've been charged, tried, and convicted of what the UUA's Canadian attorney describes as such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. So essentially they wanted those blog posts to disappear, and they thought that by saying that they would have me charged with the criminal act of blasphemous libel, which carries a 2-year or up to 2-year jail term if you're convicted of it, that might cause me to remove the blog posts in question. Of course, they did no such thing. But I got somebody coming out of the church here now. And doing a good job of making sure she doesn't see the picket signs. Unitarian Universalists are very good at totally ignoring protests against their own injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy. And that's a pretty good example. A young lady comes out of the church and does not look in the direction of the picket signs. I'm sure she's already been forewarned that I might be here. And I got a nice reflection of them in the windows there. I was a little far off. It looks like somebody's coming out again soon. So we'll make sure they see the signs. We'll be a little bit closer to the door this time. And anyhow, off to a reasonably good start. It's pretty quiet. It's pretty early. I think it's not even 9 o'clock yet. And I do have a feeling also that some of the activities in terms of the Canadian Unitarian Council's Eastern Region Gathering, which is supposed to be taking place here today, are also taking place at another church in Beaconsfield. So I'm not sure how much is going on here and how much is going on in Beaconsfield, but I thought I would make my presence felt here first. May go to Beaconsfield later. And just see, I figure someone's coming out again pretty soon. I suspect that they're gonna go from here to the other location. So anyhow, let's just circulate a little bit. And so the church here, it's actually I believe a United Church that I think the Lakeshore Unitarian Universalist congregation rents space in. I could be mistaken about that, but they do have a sign here. Clearly says Lakeshore Unitarian Universalist congregation, and it's interesting that they list their musician, Carrie Ann Kutz, but not a minister. I suspect they don't have a minister. They have a children's program. Visitors are welcome. Now it occurs to me, actually, although I'm banned from the Unitarian Church of Montreal, I'm not actually banned from the Lakeshore Unitarian Universalist congregation, so I may see just how welcome I am a little bit later. But for now, we're just going to display the picket signs, which protest against the immoral, unethical, borderline criminal, and I would even go so far as to say batshit crazy attempted misuse of Canada's blasphemy law by the Reverend Dr. Peter Beyond Belief Morales-led Unitarian Universalist Association. So, although Canadian Unitarians are not directly responsible for this attempted misuse of our blasphemy law by American Unitarians, nonetheless, as Unitarians, they should be concerned about that attempted misuse of blasphemy law for several reasons. Not the least of them being that it violates pretty much every single principle of Unitarian Universalism, or at least the ones that are pertinent: justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, free and responsible search for truth and meaning, seeking a world community with peace, justice for all, and so on. But on top of that, it completely betrays the centuries-old tradition of opposing blasphemy laws that Unitarian Universalists used to have. Okay, so these are younger people, and yeah, I guess they're heading off to the Beaconsfield Church. Right, so my guess is these young people are going to Beaconsfield. I believe there's a youth event at the Beaconsfield United Church. Looks like they had a bit of a sleepover here at the Lakeshore Unitarian Universalist congregation, they call it. I wasn't sure if they're using the term fellowship or something. I didn't think they'd use the term church. Let's make sure the camera's running here. Oh, yes it is. I want to be sure I'm got a record of this. So yes, a laugh. They're not laughing at me, per se, to the best of my knowledge. It was possible the young fellow made a quip, but it just does show their obliviousness to the outrageous hypocrisy that the top-level leaders of the Unitarian Universalist religious community are guilty of, to say nothing of a whole lot of Unitarian Universalist clergy, to say nothing of a whole lot of ordinary Unitarian Universalists. In fact, their clear, willful ignorance here violates the fourth principle of Unitarian Universalism, which calls for a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. You'd think at minimum they might want to know why I'm standing out here with picket signs that say Unitarian Universalists misuse blasphemy law to cover up and deny pedophilia and rape. So, anyhow, yes, this looks very much like the younger people heading out, and to the best of my knowledge, heading to the United Church in Beaconsfield. So, I got a car coming along here. Just make sure they see the signs.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah. No. Not you, Curtis.
Yeah, so the rapid turn of the head so as not to see the picket signs, or to see them as briefly as possible. Certainly not read them. Classic example of Unitarian Universalist willful ignorance and psychological denial when confronted by picket signs protesting against the misuse of blasphemy law to hide pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, certain Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers, and certain Unitarian Universalist lay people. So,
is Curtis coming with his stuff?
I got another car, make sure they see the signs here. And I do have my unsafe sect picket sign leaning up against the pole here. And there's not a lot of poles and so on near the sidewalk that I can lean my picket signs up against. I brought a few extra ones, but you know, for now this unsafe sect picket sign along with the 2 picket signs in my hand ought to do the job. So we'll just circulate a bit here and continue our little monologue. Car coming? Yes, there is. So I'll try and make sure the car at least sees the signs. And we got some more people coming out, so. I might have seen that face before. So yes, it is quite quiet. It's, as I said, I unfortunately don't have a timepiece with me. I accidentally left my usual timepiece at home, and but I'm guessing it's somewhere between 9 and 9:30 at the latest. Okay, so we got some more young people coming out here, and not a whole lot though, half a dozen, maybe a dozen total coming out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I know they really open.
Pickup truck here.
Do you like put it in the bed? It's kind of wet. Fuck it.
Yeah, so maybe 10 youth from the eastern region of the Canadian Unitarian religious community. Yeah, a couple more. I swear the guy had his eyes closed. Hi. So,
So, 8 in all? Mine is 1. 1, 2.
So you can take everyone
7.
Yeah.
And plus 1.
That's right. +1. That's really cool. And then I can take take 3. So we can take all the kids and pop it after.
Can Ash traffic with Paul?
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
So if you go with Paul's car, then we're okay. Okay, awesome. I need to take
We don't need more cars.
Okay. Perfect. Alright, so you're ready to go on in. And you know where you're going?
That's nothing where we're going. And
Oops, or Daisy. Is that an empty beer bottle?
I want to get in the cars and have this conversation. Okay, whoever is gonna get on the car.
I'll go with Otto, you guys.
Well, that was a good one. Empty beer bottle.
Shotgun.
Sure the camera's running. Oh yeah, 16 minutes. So we got about another minute before the segment ends. And I may shut it down just before that and start a new reel.
Right, over. Who has Jeepers? Who has Jeepers on their phone? Yeah.
It's kind of funny because I've been accused of blocking the sidewalk in the past, and here I'm having the sidewalk blocked by several Unitarian Universalists. I suppose I could ask them to move out of the way so I can circulate, but we shall just wait, I think, until they've got into the vehicles. So there they go. Looks like they're clearing the way.
How far is the
it's not ahead.